हेलो लर्नर्स, आई होप यू आर एंजॉयिंग लर्निंग। आपने पांडास का कोडिंग सीखा। नेक्स्ट हम सीखेंगे मैटप्लॉटलिब। मैटप्लॉटलिब क्या है? मैटप्लॉटलिब एक डेटा विजुअलाइजेशन टूल है जिससे हम ये सीख सकते हैं कि हम अपने रिजल्ट्स को कैसे विजुअलाइज कर सकते हैं। जब भी हमको अपना रिजल्ट किसी को शो करना होता है, लाइक इफ यू हैव टू शो अ रिजल्ट टू अवर लीडरशिप और टू अवर स्टेक होल्डर्स, टू द बिजनेस, you need to show it in a visualization format, and you need to have a very good visualization tools to represent your data. So this is a way to show your output, and this is a very important field, and there are separate fields in data science. So when you are a like say a data analyst, you might need to be working only on data visualization. So there are particular teams which does these visualizations. So this is a very important step. There are various tools like Tableau, Power BI, which are used for data visualizations. But today we'll study about one of the famous library and a basic library, Matplotlib, which is used for data visualization. And we have like various details about how to use Matplotlib. So let's proceed with what is Matplotlib. So today we'll go through the introduction, we'll go to the features, we'll go to the concepts, functions, formatting, codes. Every of these details we'll cover today, and we'll like get to know about these particular topics, right? So introduction. So firstly, Matplotlib is a multi-platform data visualization library built on NumPy array. So this is a, as I said, already built-in library. You just need to know कि how to use it. So ये already बना हुआ है, आपको खाली ये पता होना चाहिए कि इसको use कैसे करना है. It is a popular choice for data scientists and researchers because it is easy to use and create a wide variety of plots. So ये बहुत ज़्यादा use होता है industry में. And as I said, this is the one of the basic libraries which is used for data visualization. So this becomes a like first choice for all the data scientists and data analysts. Is allows to access a huge amount of data and gives a clear visualization which is a digestible visualization. So basically ये बहुत बड़े डेटा के ऊपर भी बनाया जा सकता है, और जो प्लॉट्स बनते हैं वो बहुत easily visualizable होते हैं. तो that is the reason it becomes like very useful. Then it contains various plot. What we'll study today are line graph, bar graph, scatter plot, histogram. So हम ये सारी चीजों के बारे में जानेंगे कि ये सारे ग्राफ्स कैसे होते हैं. ये बेसिक ग्राफ्स हैं. हमारे पास और भी एडवांस ग्राफ्स होते हैं, लाइक हीट मैप एंड अदर थिंग्स. लाइक we'll also see area graph and those things which are like very popular and they are used in the industry. And you need to again know that which problem statement will define which of the graph. So which, where you need to build a histogram, where you need to build a line graph, where you need to build a bar graph. So those things, like with practice and with examples, you will understand. Now let's go to the features of Matplotlib. So firstly, it is very easy to use. As I said, ये beginners के लिए है, सब लोग इसको use कर सकते हैं. Already built-in library. You just need to know how to call which function to build a particular plot. It is extensible. You can build new features and functionality by writing a particular Python code. तो आपका जो inbuilt basic functionality है वो तो है ही है. बाकी आप new उस पे Python code भी add कर सकते हैं जिससे वो, और उसको आप इनहेंस कर सकते हैं. आप उसमें कलर्स ऐड कर सकते हैं. आप उसको 2 डायमेंशनल से 3 डायमेंशनल बना सकते हैं. सो बेसिकली द बेसिक थिंग इज प्रोवाइडेड टू यू. यू कैन एक्सटेंड इट बाय यूजिंग more Python code. Then it is very flexible. You can like move it from, say, create a wide variety of simple line plot to complex 3D animation. So even like you can create a simple plots also, and also the complex 3D animation by this. Now the next thing is like you need to know what all you need to remember in mind. Firstly, like what kind of figure you are looking. Are you looking for a graph? Are you looking for a plot? Are you looking for a say area graph? So those things, like figure is very important. You need to know how we can think for a particular figure and what figure we need to make. Then if you need to make a 2D graph or 3D graph, first we'll focus on all the 2D graphs only, like how why we need to build a 2D graph, because you might need to represent two things in one particular graph. Like हमको हो सकता है कि हमको हाइट और वेट के बीच में रेशियो जानना हो, तो हमारे पास दो चीजें हैं रिप्रेजेंट करने के लिए. तो दिस बिकम्स हाइट एंड वेट बिकम्स से the two graph. Now, suppose if you want to represent height, weight, and age in one single visualization, then you will need a three-dimensional graph to do that. So that is how you need to know that how many axes or accesses are required to make your graph. Then as an artist, you need to know how, what text object you need to use, what are the different collection of object you need to know, how you want to define your accesses. So this is the artist, or uh, you basically, who's creating these plots. So these things are the general concept of Matplotlib, and how you need to like use these particular things. Now, five key plots. We have histograms, we have bar graph, we have scatter plot, area chart, pie chart. These are the basic graphs which we use. So just see these pictures and we'll go through details of each one of them. We'll also see the codes of how to build these graphs. As I said, it always is present in the backend in the library. You just need to call a function, you need to input a data, and you'll get these beautiful graphs and this beautiful visualization. It is always very difficult to read the data from Excel or from tables in a database, but it becomes very easy even for a layman who does not know coding, or who is from like not from a technical background but from a business background. It's very easy to explain these plots. That is why like visualization is a very important concept, because it if you are able to explain something very simple, there is nothing better than that. So that is the reason we are using the like visualization too much in the industry. So now we had like some of the basic how to install a library. We will go through that in our next coding session. So here we have like line graph first. So line graph is one of the chart which represent a series of line. So if you see like you have a inverse relationship over here, right? Suppose like price of like a particular quantity. Say if you are buying suppose 800 tables, your price is, suppose this price is like in millions. So price of 800 tables is 1 million. When the price increases to 1.2 million, you are buying only 700 tables. When it increases to 1.4, you are buying 600. So this is how the market works, right? If a price of certain thing increase, which is called inflation, the quantity decreases. So this is how you need to import the libraries. So we had a one slide on pip install, but that is like required if you are installing in your in your system. But if you are using Google Colab, you need to only import this library. You need to give a alias PLT, and then you can write a particular code, which is something like this. We'll discuss this code in a very detail, but this is just for you to have a high level overview how to use it. So you need to define your data, the two columns, and then you can use this plot. We'll cover this code in a very minute details in our next class, but this is just a brief overview how simple it is to create a plot using two columns and like getting this kind of a plot, right? Now a multi-line graph. If you want to plot two different things, see, as I was telling, right? This is was the demand graph. When the price is increasing, the demand is decreasing, right? And the supply is increasing. Whenever there is like less demand, there is lot of supply which is available, right? So demand and supply are opposite to each other. Maybe this is a common intersection point where we are having exactly the same supply as the price. So when the price is not very high and the demand is also not very high, this is the like sweet spot we can say, in which we are getting a mix of both. So multi-graph is a line graph that shows relationship between multiple set of data. It uses two or more lines to depict how many variables change over time. The independent variable is usually on the horizontal axis and the dependent on the vertical axis. So as I said, these are representing two same things, quantity and price ratio, but one is for demand and one is for supply. So it is very easy to like show in the same graph rather than building two different, which also shows the relationship between the demand and supply. And here the independent variable is price and the dependent variable is quantity. So once the price increases, the quantity is dependent on price, it decreases for the demand aspect. And for the supply aspect, when the price increases, the supply also increases. So this is how you can draw an interface between two different plots which we have, right? Then next we have bar graph. Now many of you might be like calculating your expenditures, right? So this is one beautiful example in which we see like so first, let's go through the definition. Bar graph is one of the most common graph used to show the data associated with categorical variable. To make bar graph as such as categorical variable with different colors value. So you can put various colors, बट बेसिकली बार ग्राफ में आप क्या कर सकते हैं, आपके पास अगर 5 डिफरेंट चीजें हैं और आप देखना चाहते हैं आपने किस में कितना एक्सपेंड किया है बेसिकली, सो वो आप बार ग्राफ से देख सकते हैं। तो जो 5 चीजें हैं, रेंट, ट्रांसपोर्ट, फूड, एंटरटेनमेंट, यूटिलिटीज, जो 5 बेसिक चीजें हम अपने डे टू डे एक्सपेंसेस में कवर करते हैं, वो आप यहाँ से देख सकते हो। तो एज वी नो, the maximum expenditure is on rent, right? Or if you are paying EMI, it can be EMI also, then other things. So you can easily draw 5 different things in the same bar graph. So in this case, the categorical variable is this rent, food, which does not have a numerical value associated with it, but it is like say opposite something which does not have a numerical value is called a categorical variable. So this is one particular category. Rent is one category, transport is one category, entertainment is one category. That is why they are called categorical variable. And the amount which gets associated with this, it is a quantitative variable which is represented on the y-axis. So again, this is how you can represent. Very similar way, you need to plot, you need to use this category, and you can give a color coding, and then you can plot in various axes wherever you want to plot what, and then you can give a title also to your graph. So again, we'll go through all of these with more examples in our coding session, but this is just a overview for you all to see how the data works in a bar graph. So when you have a categorical variable and you have to represent a quantitative variable with it, bar graph can be a good choice for that particular thing. Now we go to histogram. Histogram, we need to understand the difference between the bar graph and histogram. Histogram is used for a distribution chart, whereas a bar graph is used to compare the entities. So when you are comparing rent and transport, you are using bar graph. But if you have scores, as I told, right, or age, so which is continuous, like 0 to 20, 20 to 40, 40 to 60, 60 to 80, 80 to 100, you have these different scores here. So you want to see how many are scoring and there. So maximum if people are scoring between 30 to 40, there are people scoring 60 to 70, 80 to 90 as well. So if you want to get a distribution of a continuous variable, then histogram is the best choice, right? So you need to know bar graph and histogram may look very similar, but the difference is it is continuous, right? In bar graph we saw there was some space because they were not continuous or not related to each other, those were different categories. But here if you have scores and frequency, or age and frequency, or any other thing which is continuous on the x-axis, and you want to plot another like corresponding variable on the y-axis, you can use a histogram. So this becomes a very useful tool. Then comes the scatter plot. Scatter plot are comparing variable when you need to define how much one variable is affected by another. So when how like a number of hours you studied, how much score you did. So this you can do by line graph as well, but if you want to put only the dotted pictures to it, then scatter plot is something which can be used. So here even a line graph can be used, but scatter plot might looks little neater and little cleaner as well. So you can use that. Then you can also plot various things, various other things, like this is one example, hours studied and exam scores. Then maybe if you want to put height and weight, you can put height and weight also here. So one axis again, y axis and x axis, all of these are the two-dimensional plots, and you need to know which one to use when, which one you will be able to explain better, and for which data which is useful, right? सो आई होप आप लोग सब समझे होंगे कि यहाँ पे दो वेरिएबल है, दो वेरिएबल में हम उसको कैसे डेटा को डिफाइन कर रहे हैं, और उसमें एक वेरिएबल जो है दूसरे वेरिएबल को कितना इफेक्ट कर रहा है। तो आप जितना ज्यादा स्टडी करेंगे आपके मार्क्स उतने ज्यादा आएंगे, आप जितने ज्यादा ये वीडियोस देखेंगे आपको डेटा साइंस उतना ज्यादा समझ में आएगा, राइट? सो अगर आपने शुरुआत वाले वीडियोस मिस किए, डू वॉच इट अगेन। Okay, so again this is the same code. Again, don't go into the depth of code, just understand the concept today, but this is just a glimpse of code, as I've been saying throughout. So we'll discuss the coding of this in the next two class in very detail, but I hope you all got what is line graph, pie chart, bar graph, scatter plot, all of these things. Pie chart is the next thing which we'll cover. So pie chart is a circular graph which is broken into slices of pie. It generally used to represent the percentage or proportion. So whenever you need to represent a proportion or percentage, pie chart is the go-to graph, right? So this is always to remember. And we saw a pie chart is a simple diagram like a pieces of a pizza which you eat. So a simple thing can be represented by pie, just that the pieces can be of different size based upon the percentage of प्रपोर्शन। तो उसका जो प्रपोर्शन होगा उसके अकॉर्डिंग वो साइज डिफर कर सकता है। सो दिस इज व्हाट इज कॉल्ड एज pie chart, right? So this is the output. Housing में कितना entertainment में. So you remember you did this analysis with the bar graph as well. Same thing you can do with pie chart as well. And to be honest, the pie chart looks much better to show your output than as compared to a bar graph, right? So housing, how much you have spent, food, transport, utilities. So this is shows a clear picture that housing is the maximum. Now you have next is a box plot. Box plot represent the higher values, the medium values, and the third and fourth quintile. So I'll not go into depth, but just understand what can be the maximum marks can be 100. Minimum marks a student scoring in max is 60. Then the normal, like median, most of the students, 50% of the students are scoring around 75. And then you have 25th percentile, like suppose if there are 100 students in a class, more than 25 students are scoring more than 70 marks, and more than 75 students are scoring somewhere around 80 88 marks. So this is the range of quartile, which is 25th to 75th percentile. Similarly, we have for English and history. So if you want to show what are the outlier, highest value, lower value, those are the outliers. We'll discuss all of these topics in detail in statistics. But in short, if you want to represent the high value, the median value, where the majority of the data lies, बॉक्स प्लॉट इज द वन. सो बॉक्स प्लॉट में हम ये दिखा सकते हैं कहाँ पे कितना डेटा है और कितना मैक्सिमम कहाँ पे लाई करता है, राइट? नाउ ये एक सिंपल कॉन्सेप्ट है जो फॉर्मेटिंग के लिए यूज होता है, जो हम देखेंगे. कलर को आपको फॉर्मेट करना है, किस लाइन से आपको करना है, रेड सर्कल करना है. तो ऑल ऑफ दिस यू कैन यूज फॉर अ रेफरेंस. देयर इज नॉट much to explain here, and when we do the coding, we'll go in through the details all of these functions and how to write a string, how to show a command, how to create a figure. So this all can be used for a reference. It is very useful to be used when you need to know how to like label, how to create a title. All of these things are being used, which we'll go through in detail in our coding next session, right? So I think we have covered most of the theory part today. I think it must be a lot. So, but yeah, there are many things which we need to know. So if you have not understood everything in first go, I recommend to watch this video again and comment your email IDs so that I can share you this PPT and you can go through all of it. And when once we do the coding, I'm sure it will become more clear to all of you and you'll enjoy this journey. Please do like, share, and subscribe this with all your friends who are aspiring to become data scientists or data analysts in future. See you all in the next week videos. Bye. Take care.